name is Ishwar. I've been with Dr.Reddy's for 2 years now, and I started off my career here at Biologics, and through the Young Leaders program, I've had the opportunity to interact with Prasad here today. So, hi Prasad.
Hi.
So, starting off, I hear a lot about our purpose, that good health can't wait. We hear it a lot. But what does that mean to you, and how exactly should we imbibe that?
So, good health can't wait is obviously self-explanatory. Good health defines the areas that we're going to be in. Can't wait signifies the urgency with which we tackle problems. Along with the statement, there's something about that we accelerate access to both affordable and innovative medicines because good health can't wait. If you read this in totality, it defines the reason for our existence. That we exist to find solutions to unmet medical needs, make medicines more affordable, and provide them to as many people as possible in the world in as short a period of time as possible. So this is what I think is the purpose of the company. Now each of us has our own purpose also, and I'm hoping that it aligns with the larger purpose of the organization. For me, the personal purpose I have in Dr. Reddy's is to make Dr. Reddy's a platform to unleash the potential in every individual and use that potential to fulfill the organization's purpose. So that's what purpose to me is about.
How do you see that cascading through all the levels of the organization to each and every employee?
So I think the purpose of the organization is very clear. Each of you has a role in this organization, a role which helps the organization deliver on its purpose, deliver in making products of high quality, deliver on products which meet unmet needs, and also find ways to make the product more competitive, lower in cost, so that more people can afford it. Also create more surpluses for us to invest in the future of this organization, and also invest in research which has its own risks and absorb those failures if any, and create a robust future for the organization. So in some way or the other, every individual in Dr. Reddy's is contributing to this purpose.
So we recently announced our quarterly results. What exactly do you say is the message to the organization that we can take away from the performance this last quarter?
Yeah. Firstly, I think it was a great quarter. The quarter in terms of profits, revenues, EBITDA was record breaking. But of course, it was helped by some one-times. We had some out-licensing revenue, which will not recur. We had a large COVID portfolio sales, which helped the quarter. Again, as COVID tapers down, that will also taper down. But even the base business did well. We grew the same quarter last year. With all the price erosion and all of that, we still grew. And that's something to be happy about. At the same time, I think some businesses didn't fully perform due to various reasons. Of course, the API business is something that stands out that needs to improve, and that that happened because of a number of factors within our control and also outside our control. The competition has increased tremendously from China. There was a huge increase in the commodity prices, and of course some operational issues which we could internally fix. A combination of this created a perfect storm, and that business did not do well. But the rest of the businesses did really well. The COVID portfolio did amazingly well, and of course the one-time licensing fees also helped the results. The overall message for us is that we can't be complacent. We have to keep on improving our position in cost, in market share, in customer engagement, in our operations, in our R&D, and we are on this journey of continuous improvement, and that is what will help us create sustained value for all our stakeholders.
But as you mentioned, last year was full of uncertainties because of the ravages of COVID. So what exactly do you see as the future of the pharmaceutical industry, the Indian pharmaceutical industry, from this?
I am very bullish about the Indian pharmaceutical industry. I think this is one of the few industries that India is globally competitive in. The IT sector, of course, is one prime example of that from India. After the IT industry, I think the pharmaceutical industry has all the elements of becoming a global leader. We already are a leader in API. We are getting there in terms of generics, and we are doing a lot of investments in innovation. All of this together, I think I'm very bullish about the prospects for Indian industry. Of course, it's going to be competitive, which means we have to be on our toes. We have to improve everything that we do every day. There are, challenges, but in spite of all that, I think the industry is well positioned to compete and succeed.
So you touched upon the aspects of our culture a little earlier.
Yeah.
So I'd like to dive a little deeper into that. So you've been at the helm of our organization for several years now.
Several decades now.
So I'd just like to highlight an aspect that we focus a lot on being first to market.
Yeah.
So what is the aspect of our culture that drives our interest in being first to market?
So, as we are sitting in Dr. Reddy's room here, this was his office. For Dr. Reddy, profits were secondary. Being first was most important. Whether it was a molecule, whether it's an innovation, whether it's an activity, he was always a pioneer. And that pioneering aspect of our culture is very important to me also. First to market is an important part of our business. The value that a first to market company gets is disproportional. And also, it also helps create greatest value for patients. If you see when an innovator launches a product, if it's at $100, the first generic that comes in is probably $20, $10, $5, depending on the market. But that incremental difference is the value we create for our stakeholders, for our patients. And hence, being first to market not only is important from a purpose point of view, but also from a financial point of view. Also, the market share that a first to market company gets is disproportionate. So, if you have to win in the pharmaceutical industry, if you have to be popular with your patients and your doctors and the healthcare system, first to market is kind of very, very important. While we can design our processes well, work well together to achieve this, culture plays a much more important role. The aspect of winning gold but not the silver part of it is the culture we need to drive. Over the years, I've seen some level of dilution of this culture. We've become a little more bureaucratic. We've become a little more democratic beyond necessary. We keep on debating without taking decisions. And we want to take decisions when everything is perfectly clear. This is not the culture that we had. Our culture was really tuned to become first to market at all costs. And I think I want to bring that culture back to this organization.
So another aspect of our culture that we place heavy emphasis on is the need for continuous improvement.
Yeah.
How do we feed that into the organization?
See, today the industry in India is highly competitive. In the early days when we were there, just being in the industry we would ensure we make profits. Today you have to be good, you have to be first, you have to be cost competitive. And all of this is not possible if you just launch a product and forget about it. You need to improve your cost structures on an ongoing basis. You need to innovate in your manufacturing processes. You have to innovate on the chemistry that you do, on the unit operations that you do, and you need to continuously improve your competitive position. Only then you will be able to hold on to your market share consistently across across markets. And hence, being first to market and continuously improving your cost position, your competitive position, the way you engage with customers, all of this has to come together. And hence, it's an important aspect of retaining our leadership in the industry.
Speaking of leadership again, segueing into the next segment. So, thank you for sitting down with me, first of all. But what message would you give to our young leaders in the organization today? What message would you give to people who are just joining our organization and ready to take that next step in their career?
So, as you're young, you can afford to take many more risks in your career. Don't try to over-optimize your journey, saying I need to be promoted a year after now, I need to be the next manager. But learn. Have appetite for learning as much as possible, and go beyond the edges. Just don't stick to your function. Understand the business end to end. Understand how value is created, how value is captured, and how we can retain our position in the marketplace. Also learn. You're young. You have a lot of energy. You have a lot of opportunity to invest in various things. Learn the business very well. Don't limit yourself to your function. And I think we've launched, L&D has launched something about demystifying pharma. We've spent a lot of time designing this program so that it is simple, easy to understand, and anybody can go through the course and get a view of the industry as well as the various parts of the ecosystem. I've unfortunately seen many people stick to their function. I'm in finance, I only do finance. I'm in regulatory affairs, I only do regulatory affairs. That I think is a disaster for me. I think as young leaders, you need to absorb as much as possible, be fully equipped. When you understand the full value chain, you'll be very successful even in the domain that you work in or you choose to work in. So even to be a functional leader, you need to be broad. So I like our young leaders to be T-shaped in their learning journeys, have depth as well as breadth, and use your time to be as good as you can. Unleash your full potential, and if you want to unleash your full potential, you need to learn a lot more than not just your function.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for sitting down with me, Prasad.
Thank you.